It's March 12th. There we are. And having a little technical difficulties here this morning, so please bear with me. I've had audio problems, video problems. Then I had to restart the whole system. But here I am. I'm 9 minutes late, but 8 minutes late, but what the heck. So, what's going on today? I hope your day is starting off okay. March 12th. It's Tuesday. It's March 12th. 9:10 a.m. I just wetted my whistle here a little bit with a little warm tea. So I have a new video source up here. I just relocated the camera, actually. Nothing strategic, but so there's my little, or I should say, Marilyn's little beetle. Love bug, as you might call it. So this video source is coming right off my microphone stem, so I can move that up a little bit. I can bend this down a little bit. That's probably better right there. I mean, I've had all kinds of technical issues, but I'm in good shape now. We got Epidemic Sound Instrumental, which is playing. We're streaming, by the way, just to be clear, with three. I say three. It's a Simulcast. And this Simulcast is over Facebook Live, which actually started me off. I got Facebook Live, and then I said, well, wait a minute. What about Twitter? Is there a Twitter Live? Well, there actually is a Twitter Live. And YouTube Live, which actually they're all good for playing it back. Between the three, I have over 1,000 friends, you might say, that could be interested in hearing me yickety yakety. So I talk about the news of the day. Which, the big news of the day is former Justice Department Special Prosecutor is testifying in front of Congress today. And the Justice Department did a full and complete write-up regarding Vice President Biden, because he was vice president for 8 years with Barack Hussein Obama. And then he had 4 years of hiatus. And then he became president 3 years ago. And he opened up the border. I can imagine opened up the border. I mean, how stupid is that, right? They had a fancy deal which Trump worked out with the president of Mexico, which, of course, the Mexicans figured that was going to be in place for a long time. And that order basically said, you put 28 or 29,000 of your troops guarding your southern border, your southern border with Central America, and stop the flow. And then you can put some portion of those troops on your northern border and prevent them from jumping into the United States. Oh, we can't do that. Oh, and Trump in the order says, fine, everything that you import into the United States will have a 25% tariff attached to it. Oh, well, then we'd be honored to guard our border. Well, Biden canceled that. Oh, gee. And he doesn't have the cojones to go back to the president and said, oops, I made a mistake. No. Now, if Trump gets elected president, he'll go right back to the president of Mexico and say, hello, senor presidente, close your borders. And anybody that, decides to jump our border, you're getting thrown out. You're getting deported. And if we have to line our border with our military, for God's sakes, we are going to stop the flow. Stop the flow. See, Biden's idea is we just hire more border agents to take names and numbers and and then give them a piece of paper, say you have to appear in court, in the year 2031. Which those people take that and put it right in the old trash heap. You know, along with their cell phones, they immediately throw those in the trash because they know you can what do you call it, to trace the cell thing, the chip. So they in the circular file with us. Yeah, I mean these guys are not non-compass mentis. They're smart people, and they know how to stay away from being detected in the United States. So anyway, so the present issue before the congressional committee is that the now resigned special prosecutor that wrote this, voluminous report said Biden broke the law. He shouldn't have done this. He shouldn't have done that. He had documents stored 3 different places in his house, unsecured. When he was not president. And when he was vice president. Vice presidents and senators are not supposed to keep and retain top secret information. Okay? You can, on a selective basis, they can say, Mr. Senator Biden, would you kindly come in to the skiff, which is a secure location. It could be a conference room that's guarded, okay, by the Capitol Police. And you are now, and they have a document on the tabletop that says you're now permitted to read this document, and after you're done reading it, then you exit the skiff. Okay. Well, he was folding them up and putting them in his pockets. Oh, really? I mean, oh god. For decades, he was doing that. What kind of? Oh my god! It's like the Keystone Cops. So we're going to just switch this view in case you're watching this live and in color. And I hope epidemic is not too loud. It's it's kind of. Let's just turn it down a bit. It's loud in my headphones, but it's not too loud for you guys. I think. I try to calibrate this. There we go. you can see my hand calibrating. Yes, I'm a calibrator in chief. And then we have this other view, which that's over here. You see? Now you're looking now you can see. Yeah, so if I was trying to show you something, like Marilyn bought these really neat socks that you can get. I'm a little, it's supposed to be manual focus, but it seems to be out of focus. She bought me these socks. They're shamrock socks. We can see those shamrock socks. And so she had them all nicely wrapped up for me, and I'm going to wear them. Probably, maybe even tomorrow. This is Tuesday. Ooh, yeah, on the 13th. Oh my God. On the 13th, I've been chosen. I made an application to be a poll worker. You know, like the election, the polls, and you got you check in with your driver's license, and you have a row of boys and girls that look at your license, and then they look you up in a booklet. And they say, "Oh, Mr. Wilson, I see you're a registered Republican, and accordingly, you are entitled to vote in today's election." In Florida, it is not an open primary; it is a closed primary, which means no Democrats allowed. Now, no Democrats are allowed to vote in the Republican primary, but Republicans vote in Republican primaries, and Democrats vote in Democratic primaries. So today is election day. I mean, next Tuesday, a week from today, is primary day. Okay, so all the Republicans show up to vote. And anyway, I have to go. I have to go to training because I've been selected to be a poll. I'm going to the clerk training. The clerk in the world of polls in the state of Florida, you have the clerk, the assistant clerk, and then you have all the little clerk. No, let's see if I have a. Yeah, so I have a pen here. Let's see if this will work. All right, so here's some notes on here. Let's tear that off. And with a, and tear that off. So in the world of polling, I'm lefty, so it's going to be a little bit lopsided, upside down, ski, whatever. So you have the clerk, that's in the top box. And then you have the assistant clerk. No, I mean, it's serious business. I mean, you go to training to do this. So then, underneath here, you've got two lines that come down, and this one goes doot, 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 maybe five. I'm going to draw 5 boxes. This is the organizational chart for the election process, the poll workers that are in a polling, what do you call it? And these are called inspectors. So I'm going to put an I in each of those boxes. And then over here, you've got the scanner. I'll just put the scanner manager. He stands by that machine And there could be two machines. So we'll just put an M in here and an M in here. There we go. So that is the org chart. Oh, move forward that way. So that way you can see it on this. Look at that. In fine focus on my new video. I have a camera attached up here onto my boom. Kaboom, boom. There we go. It's still in focus, still in focus. I may need to give that just a little turn. There we go. The keyboard should be in focus. It will expose the keyboard. Yep. So that's, I'm going to training to figure this out. Uh, I forget there's an official title for this, but I actually operated this position 4 years ago in the last presidential election. And yeah, you have to get there at 6 a.m. You don't get out of there till like 9 p.m. Of course, I could have gone out of there like at 7:30 because I had all my scanner stuff done, but I had to hang around because the clerk couldn't figure out how to shut down everything. So I helped her out. So no, I didn't get paid to be an assistant clerk. I got paid to be a scanner manager, and I managed two scanners because there was two polls. Well, it was polling location 4222 and 4230. Those were the two precincts, as they call them, 4222 and 4230. So depending on where you live in, the southern Palm Beach County in the Boca Raton area, you are, on your election, your voter registration code, it tells you your precinct number. So you're either 4230 if you're in the downtown area or 4222. We live in 4222. So I would vote and my ballot would be scanned by this machine. And vice versa. So ballots, I think, had the precinct number on the top of it. So when the inspectors hand out the ballots, what I should do is I should put a bunch of lines on below here, because these are the participants, the voters. Okay, those are all the voters that come in, and this is A through this, and this is C through that, and that's right, and W through Z. I always went to this guy all the way in the end because Wilson is at the end of the alphabet, and A's are over here, and Z's and W's, XYZ's are over here. So anyway, I do 6-hour training, and the training is very well documented. They hand out a training packet, and you go through it page by page. And as I've been adjunct for years, and I'm hanging around students all the time, so I know how to be a student. So I'm looking forward to clerk training tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp up in West Palm Beach for 240 South, I think it's Military Trail in West Palm Beach. So we have to figure out how to, I guess, Marilyn's just going to get to work real early. Let's see, I drop her. Yeah, so like at 7:45, I got to drop her off. She's got the keys and the combos, so she can get in there and hunker down until her second person shows up at 8 o'clock. But I got to be wheels up to West Palm Beach, at like 8, because I don't want to miss I don't want to miss out on my training. So I'd go east, get on military, and just head north, young man, until you hit a dead end. Anyway, so Congressman who um, has to testify in front of Congress, and they're going to go through his report, and he's got an opening statement, and a special prosecutor, um, his primary duty is to see if any laws were broken. Well, there were all kinds of laws broken with regard to Biden's storing of documents with his closed garage door next to his Corvette. Yeah, and for years, his son come and go with his, drug buddies. Remember, the kid was on drugs, so you had a parade of people going through that garage that were not necessarily, the epitome of, a public character, at least when you're on drugs. So God knows who he marched through that garage in these broken boxes with, you know, classified information that's in there from, 30, 20, 10 years ago. Because he kept on pocketing this in violation of federal law. I mean, it's serious business. If you walk off with a secure document, classified document, I think they call it, and you have a security clearance, so that you have the ability to touch, read it, or in the case of a president, those documents are presented to the president under his tutelage to make sure they're kept, in a secret way. Well, of course, if you're in the White House, your White House office should be considered, the whole building is a SCIF in a sense, a secure location. Um, but not in your garage next to your Corvette, not in your office in your home, and not in another, in your den. I think he had, his garage and two other locations in his house, which, when he was not a vice president and when he was not a president, there was a gap period. Okay. And, that's a 4 year period where he wasn't uh, either of those. Now, the distinction between president and vice president is um, when you're a vice president, you're not allowed to retain any documents. When you're president, you can retain your documents because you're in the White House, and that whole, portion of the White House is secure. Now, when you're president, like Trump, for example, and then he became non-president for this last 3 years. Well, they raided his house with 26 armed FBI people with machine guns. Would you? You talk about the difference between when you have a Democratic administration and how the FBI works. Why the hell would they have armed guards, busting into Mar-a-Lago like they're seizing 100 pounds of cocaine, which didn't happen. But remember, Mar-a-Lago is the residence of a president or a former president. And guess what? There's a Secret Service detail surrounding at all times, 24/7, his entire Mar-a-Lago 30, 54-acre estate in the southern tip of Palm Beach County. Okay, bound by the ocean on the east side and the intercoastal waterway on the west side, and then you've got the tip of of the island of Palm Beach, and north to adjacent property to the north of Mar-a-Lago. So you got you know a northern and a southern land, and then you got the Winter Coastal Waterway. And which they always have a boat floating around there with a Secret Service guy sitting in it, and they rotate these 6 or 8. Robert K. Hur. Hur is the guy's name. Hur. Special prosecutor. Anyway, so when you're president and you have a presidential residence, it's guarded by the Secret Service, 24/7. Okay, so any documents that are, 2 stories underground in a locked room, they show boxes in the bathroom. That's the bathroom of this mock stage that they have set up in the basement of Mar-a-Lago. Well, they locked off the whole area. So yeah, there were boxes piled up, in and around the bathroom and all that because that bathroom's not used by anybody. It's sealed off, and this whole section of the basement of Mar-a-Lago, and then they had boxes stacked up on the stage, which is elevated above the base the basement floor, if you will. Anyway, according to the Supreme Court, they have ruled in the what is commonly called the Sox trial, the Sox case. And why was the Sox case? Because Bill Clinton, former President Clinton, had a whole bunch of audio tapes from everything, every meeting that he had with people in the White House and so forth. It was all recorded, and he had it on tapes. And he stuck those cassette tapes in his socks, and they put him in the sock drawer of his dresser drawers, where the head was. Oh God! So in that in that Supreme Court ruling, they said, look, a former president's residence is a huge skiff. Okay, it's all guarded by the Secret Service, 24/7. No one can get in there and rummage through the files of a former president. You can't do it. So, oh boy, what a mess. There we go. So now we got the 2 views. So you can see everything. When I go over here and start fooling around with my soundboard, you can see me moving my hand over there. You can barely see what's going on over there. Let's see if I can edge that camera up a little bit. There you go. Now you can see. I mean, this Rodecaster Pro is more than a soundboard. It is of course, now you can see my teeth, and I have a pretzel here, which I had last night at the Rotary social event. Yeah, that's sitting there. I put it in a microwave. Now it's gotten hard again. I love those hot pretzels. Oh God. There's got to be a place that I can get those. I have to figure out who manufactures them. Okay, Hur. You can see in this delayed broadcast. Hur is marching into the hearing room. He has just entered room 2140 of the Capitol committee hearing room. And it was marched in there with armed guard. I mean, yeah, this U.S. government stuff is pretty serious stuff. Well, Hur is going to be sworn in at 10 o'clock. It's 9:40, so he got there 20 minutes early. So he resigned as special prosecutor because essentially his job was completed when he filed his report with Congress and other people that are entitled to review that report. There he goes. Former special prosecutor Herr marches into the Rayburn House, which is the House Chambers office building and so forth. We visited our former Clay Shaw, who was our House of Representatives person, and I was pleased that my daughter, Robin, worked for Clay Shaw, and it was so much fun to fly up to Washington and visit her in the Rayburn building. And if the congressman happened to be there, Robin and Aaron, the two of them, were like bookends inside the front door of Clay Shaw's office. And if you actually, so you have this lobby area, where Robin and Aaron, Robin handled all the appointment bookings and that, and Aaron dealt with all the mail. I forget who did what, but the two of them did everything that had to do with non-legislative, appointments, the telephone, answering constituent calls, referring, the congressman involved if that was necessary. Now, if you were good enough, which we were one time, several times, to go visit with the congressman, and he would just get up and shake hands and hug or whatever, and he'd sit down behind his desk, very an unbelievable gentleman. And he had this big window that was like 8 feet wide and 10 feet tall, and it looked right at the Capitol. I mean, it was like the Rayburn office building is not in the Capitol. It's a separate office building that's, several hundred feet away from the Capitol, called the Rayburn office building. And then you have the Hart office building, which houses all the senators and the Senate chambers and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Anyway, but Robin is not doesn't work for the congressman anymore, and the congressman, I'm sorry to say, passed away a few years ago. On that unhappy notion. Anyway, her is being sworn in the next 15 or 20 minutes. And his testimony, so what's, so big deal. Well, the big deal is, he said in his report, the reason why we didn't pursue charges, which is not actually fair because he broke the law. Now, it's one thing to make a decision on whether you broke the law, and the next thing is to make a decision whether you're going to take him to trial or not. He should have surely been indicted because, the grand jury of your peers, the way our system works, decides you need a simple majority. Did you break the law? You had boxes of secure crap in your garage, goddammit. And lowering the garage door is not exactly, well, I locked my garage door. Yeah, right. Well, a lot of times we could drive by your house and the garage door was open, anyway. And then the other part, apparently he wrote in the report, I guess that's, why didn't you prosecute? Well, the prosecutorial decision is different from the decision on if you broke the law or not. Okay? Because you don't decide whether to prosecute. Now, in this case, they decided not to prosecute the president because he wasn't competent to face trial. He was such a nice, sympathetic old man that didn't have a good memory that we didn't think we could convince a jury to convict him, which is jury nullification, because the jury is not to say, oh, he's a nice old man. No, you broke the law, you didn't break the law. It's like saying, well, we're not going to prosecute him for robbing the bank because we don't think we can convict a nice old man for robbing the bank. What? No, no. That is the prosecutor's decision to figure out how to convince the jury to convict somebody. Oh, but with Trump, oh my God, armed guards, go through all these boxes to see, and of course, Trump went bonkers. Well, he's entitled to go bonkers because, you know, never in American history has armed guards, 26 of them with machine guns, holding at bay. I mean, it was all over the television. And they're rummaging through his crap. Matter of fact, they didn't allow any of the White House staff, excuse me, the president's staff that was, in the facility. They made them all get out in the heat and wait outside. You couldn't even wait in the air conditioning in in another part. And they rummaged through everything. They're going through Melania's underwear drawers. I mean, it's just, it's disgusting. Oh, boy. So if anyone thinks there's not a two-class system with, you got to watch. So what are you going to? I feel like we're in Russia. You got to watch out. Do I have armed guards at my apartment here because I'm saying things that might be controversial? Of course, I say things that are controversial. That's why people listen to. You analyze the information and you make your own decisions. Well, I'm entitled to that too. And I don't have any legal training. I'm not a constitutional scholar, but listen to Jonathan Turley. He is. He teaches constitutional law at George Washington University, one of the foremost scholarly places, for lawyers, to and essentially get their law license. And then they study and take the bar exam in different jurisdictions, like in Florida or District of Columbia or Maryland, Virginia. So if you work up in that area, you want to be a member of all three bars: the Virginia bar, the Maryland bar, and the District of Columbia bar, depending on where your offices happen to be located, and so forth. So my daughter's now has succeeded in getting 2 years of her law degree under her belt. Now she's got 2 more years to go. And I'm encouraging her, please, she's got a Rolodex that it took a horse. Because when she worked in Capitol Hill, she made friends with everybody in all these buildings. They had these huge dining rooms. So you had your opportunity, you call up some assistant to the chief of staff in the Senate, Senator, Rubio or something. Not Rubio himself, but the secretary of his chief of staff. Well, they know everything that's going on in Rubio's office. Oh, Robin, I'm making this up. They go meet for lunch in the Hart Senate cafeteria, which is, I think, in the basement level of the Hart office building. And you can get to these different buildings with a underground tram thing, electric underground people mover, so to speak. And we went on those people movers because we were, invited guests into the Rayburn building where Clay Shaw officed, and Robin worked for Clay Shaw. But that was a very exciting period of time for, a parent. Speaking of laws and so forth. So you got, on one hand, you got a former president being prosecuted, and they're like, they're like twisting his shirt and tie and holding him by the neck just about legally. And he's got to spend tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees, to have two or three or four lawyers reading everything. They divide up the task. I mean, Trump's a smart cookie. He's a multi-billionaire. I don't know how many billions. He has to, a billion of his assets is tied up in all this litigation. Now, if you were just a regular guy running for president, you know, you don't have $1 billion to defend, because you're going to spend $500 million in legal fees. It's got to be some huge number because he's got legal teams in four different jurisdictions. 24/7, you got all these lawyers, and every time they talk to you, it's $1,000 an hour. Well, and you got four of them in there. So you're in a conference room, that's $4,000 an hour while you're being briefed on what's going on. Well, that's I'm making that up, but I'm not making up the $1,000 an hour part though. Yeah, Gosh, crazy. And then the state of New York says, "Oh yeah, you got to put up a 400,000, excuse me, $400 million bond. It's $350 million in damages. There wasn't any damages. But say, oh yeah, no, you damaged. We're the state of New York, and we've decided you have unfairly presented your financial information to the banks. Although the banks do their own analysis, the state of New York doesn't sit in the loan closings. Okay, you have the lawyers for the Bank of New York. I'm making that up, and then you got the lawyers for Trump in the Bank of New York when they do, a $800 million interim loan on an office building in Manhattan. And Trump has a few buildings in Manhattan. And the banks, Deutsche Bank, you know, most, if not all, of the major banks in New York City considered Trump as a whale client. You not only caught a nice big fish when you were out fishing, Trump is a whale. Every bank said, we would be pleased to do business with Trump if he would gracious with, if he'd be so kind to deal with us because we have better people. I mean, I used to I used to do loans like that. Not that size. They were 10 million, 20 million, 30 million, 100 million. That's it. 150 million was the biggest loan I ever did, or I had to sign off on. It was in the approval chain, and that was for the Joe Robbie Stadium, the stadium that the Dolphins play at. Jimmy was involved in the approval process for the construction of Joe Robbie Stadium, which included, I believe, 72,000 seats, stadium, 72,000 seat stadium, and 26,000 car parking, situated on, I think it was like 400 acres in the very northwestern piece of Dade County, Miami-Dade County. It was Dade County then. Now it's Miami-Dade. Miami-Dade, Dade, Miami-Dade. You had the city of Miami and they had Dade County. Well, now the whole county is Miami-Dade, I think. It's kind of like what Jacksonville did. Jacksonville is, the city of Jacksonville is basically the whole county. Duval County, I think. So that's the way, yeah, anyway, so 150 was the biggest one I touched for Southeast Bank as a humble Southeast banker. and I did a load of business. And I was legally in charge, not legally, but I had a contract with the bank with a offering letter and what you're going to get paid, and the moving situation. They packed, they moved, they bought our house in Miami. They gave us 60% of the mortgage, whatever the mortgage rate was. You paid 60% of the mortgage rate. And it was a huge number, so 60% of a huge number is a lesser number, but it was still about the price it is right now. It was like a 10, 12, 14% mortgage rate market when we moved to Tampa. So they gave us a 60% of the mortgage rate, which was quite a benefit. That was probably more valuable than the stupid salary. It wasn't a stupid salary, it was a decent salary. And Marilyn also worked at Southeast Bank. I said, if you want me in Tampa, it's a twofer. She has to be offered a job in the Tampa market. And, she worked in the consumer side of the bank. I was in the commercial real estate loan side of the bank, the corporate bank, so to speak, and she was in the retail bank. They were not separate banks, but they're separate responsibility centers and different kinds of regional and corporate managers for the different divisions. So anyway, she got hired by, I think his name was Jack Whittemore, and I was basically hired by Jack Echon, who was the regional executive, and with Jim Budd in Miami was my supervising manager, who turned out to be a crazy person. Yeah, boy, he was trouble. So I had to get out of Southeast Bank. So one of my best shopping center developer borrowers of Southeast Bank said, "Jimmy, you're not going to work at Southeast Bank anymore. I'll hire you. You can do all my stuff as an inside guy, partner in South Coast Inc." So I did that for 6 or 8 years or something, 6, 7 years, and then moved back to Boca Raton and into Boca Bank as the senior lending officer of Boca Bank. And they relocated me, and then I had to stay we had to stay in hotels for a number of months. I'm paging through all these things. I'm in the process of. I'm moving right along here. Well, you see the upside down quarter business. There's a better picture. That is my tread. If when you turn a quarter upside down, you put it in, your tread. Our tires are like they're brand new tires. You wouldn't even know that they were. I mean, look at these. Now we only drove the car, 17,900 miles, something like that. So you had to take pictures of all the treads with the quarter thing. There's. I took another picture of that rear panel because in one of these other photographs it looks like it's like damaged. It's not damaged. So there's the wheels, 4 wheels. Then let's see. We want favorites. Yeah. So that way we don't look at the pictures that I just didn't consider favorites. So there's the 4 wheels. And then there's the interior on that side. The back seats. There's no wear and tear on the back. There's a little smudge there that can be rubbed out. Well, and there's the driver's side, which is all good to go. This card right there. There's this red card. Inside here, behind my business card, which you can see if I pop this thing right there. You see that? My business card. But on this side, so when you valet your car, your phone is your key. So you're not going to leave your phone in the car for the valet guy. So you leave this card in there, and you place it right in there, and then he can start the car, lock the car, unlock the car, drive the car to valet your car. Anyway, I have a dent in the driver's side door. You can see me in reflection taking a picture of the dent, and I put an arrow on there like you couldn't figure it out. So you see this rear quarter panel? That looks like the whole back end of my car got like mushed. Well, I took another picture, which is the end of the. There you go, to show that there's actually no damage back there. It was just, you know, exciting reflections because of the lighting outside. There, see, now this picture, the same parking spot. See, there's this side, there's the back, and there's the front. Anyway, that one picture, says, you see, there you go. Now you can see the door. Uh, those two dents. So they either have to bang that out or replace the door. No damage to the window or any of the stuff internally. It's just that door panel got pushed in by someone at Publix. You know, kind of some old lady drove into the side of me. They said, "No problem, Mr. Wilson. We'll take care of that. Your excess wear and tear will cover that." I said, "Okay, no tricks." So you have to send in 24 pictures of your car, including, you know, these that I just showed you. Can you see them? There we go. That's better. So you can see the pictures. There's me taking the pictures. Reflection off the door. You know, the inside pictures. You know, the wheels. Make sure the wheels, you know, the rims are not damaged. Everything is clean as a whistle. And there's the tread, you know. So, it's a good looking car. We're getting another one just like it, black, dual motor, front and rear motors, extra duty battery. There's my license tag. FAU, Florida Atlantic University, in living color. And then you have to take a picture of the plate inside the door panel. There you go. It shows the rim size, the tire size. They're very special tires, engineered by the Tesla team for wear and road noise. And you can see the VIN number there. And then you have to there's the VIN number on the inside the windshield. You know, and I kind of like expanded it so you can see it. And then there's my two key cards. And there was another picture you had to have there. This one right here. You had to take a picture of your screen, your computer screen that's inside your cockpit on the software page, because they want to see the VIN number in the computer, and there's the VIN number, and there's the mileage, 17,923. So this is like your mileage statement. You know, when I turn the car in, we'll have to sign something and say the mileage is 17,923. You know, autopilot computer, full self-driving computer, additional, and then you can click that additional information if you want it. And so that's that. So that's what you had to. So I sent that in yesterday. So I'm waiting for Tesla to come back and say, this is a deal, and this is how much money I need to get into your new car. They're permitting us to get into the new car 2.5 months early, and they will pay the $17,500 worth of lease payments that'll be forgiven because I turned the car in to get it. So I think it's going to cost a couple $1,000 to get into the new car. Transfer. You got all these fees and things you got to pay. Um, so that's that. See, they're getting ready to swear them in. They're all lining up, and I'm looking at the. Oh boy, what a mess! There you go. There's my hello. Yeah. So there's the. You can see the special prosecutor over there, and that right there. He's getting ready to be sworn in. Yep, there he goes. He's standing up. It's almost like a perp walk. The Pledge Allegiance. They all face the flag and all that. We used to do that as school kids. Oh, they don't do it anymore because it may upset the illegal aliens. Are you kidding? Get them the hell out of here. They don't like our American flag. That's you gotta swear to uphold the Pledge of Allegiance. When you become a citizen. And these turkeys, it'll hurt their feelings. Well, fine, get the hell out of here. You're guests until you become citizens, and you have to study our history and make sure you speak English and all this stuff. Anyway, so the one final thing I want to mention, if this special prosecutor said that the president's really not he's not really compass mentis to I didn't say this, but Robert Hur said in no uncertain terms, if you read his you know lengthy report, some 300 pages, 308 pages, or something like that. You know, so Chairman Jordan is now going to. He's got his opening remarks, and they each have opening remarks, and then it goes around the different congressmen to ask questions of the people that are on this investigative committee. It's a public hearing. Well, if you're not compos mentis, if you're not, you're a nice old man, you can't remember, when your son died, for God's sakes. How the hell are you gonna, you know, how, how do you how do you have the secret codes to the nuclear weapons, for God's sakes? Are you gonna forget they're in Kansas or where? I mean, you have stabs and all that stuff, but you have to, you can't be fading in and out of. He doesn't get into the White House until like 10 in the morning. All right, and then he's out of there by 4 in the afternoon. So you got a 6-hour guy, 10 to 4. And of course, then he's got a couple-hour lunch with somebody. So, he doesn't have a big, Trump, they work 20 hours a day. And when he goes to an airplane, gets into the helicopter before, he'll walk by the media and he'll stand there and answer questions for an hour and a half, until the last man standing can't figure out another question to ask. I mean, it's like crazy. Oh, boy. So, all right, we're coming on an hour. It's a busy Tuesday morning. We're Simulcast, but we just got knocked off of one of them. So it's only two of the Facebook Live, Twitter Live, and what do you call it? YouTube Live. I think we just got knocked off Twitter Live, but it's one of those two. Facebook Live we're still good for. And we just crossed the hour mark. So I should really wrap it up. So the final question to ask with all this testimony is, if the president is not capable of, standing trial for just having records in his garage, which, you know, is a crime, and you can't deem them not classified. So your president has the ability to do that. He can basically say, all these documents in my box here are deemed unclassified. Now he'd have a staff go through and list them all, you know, and you sign it, and it goes through, you know, some the Presidential Records Act. It's it's not called the Vice Presidential Records Act, everybody. It's the Presidential Records Act, which means Trump is a special person as a president. Now, not as a past president, that's different. But when those documents were boxed, now remember, you think Trump was standing there going through everything in his desk drawer? They got to get out of there, basically overnight. Maybe he's got 2 days. You have to vacate the premise because the new president, takes occupancy. And you got to be out of there. The White House cleaning crew, they go through and they wipe down every darn thing and vacuum and clean and there. So when the new president and the new first lady walk through, they can see the place is like stunningly clean, and the furniture, is all in there from, the day of George Washington, for God's sake. His desk is in there somewhere. Anyway, so it's a historic place, for God's sakes. So if you can't stand trial for having records in your garage, are you fully compass mentis to be president? Right now, as a matter of fact, his doctor says, yes, he is. They didn't give him, the test that everyone else has taken, which is the, to see if you have any mental deficiencies, which I've taken, by the way. I didn't get 100. I missed 3 questions out of 30. So my doctor said, for your age, you're doing really, really good. Trump took it, and he got 30 out of 30. I don't know how I missed 3. I know I missed 1. So I don't know what the other 2 were, but I think I remember him saying, you got 27 out of 30. And I looked at Marilyn and I said, what's the 2? I don't remember. I know I missed 1 of them, but I don't remember missing the other 2. But, anyway, so if you have a problem with compass mentis being president, is that grounds for the 25th Amendment, where you say, hey, you know what, Mr. President, you're going to have to step down. We're going to make the vice president because you're not compass mentis. And they actually go through you have to sign, all people have to sign a petition in the cabinet saying, yeah, he's not really. Now, that may never would happen, much less be proposed. But, yeah, it's just the question, How do you say he's not compass mentis? If he's compass mentis for presidency, how can he not be compass mentis, at least to be indicted for these bad deeds? Now, if you don't want to prosecute that indictment, that's question number 2. But you just don't give up because I don't know what kind of jury I'm going to get, and I don't know. They're probably going to be sympathetic to this guy, no matter what evidence we give. Well, that's jury nullification. The jurors are instructed not to do that. You have to look at this in the situation of, did this person, whoever it is, break the law? Well, anyway, the Sox case actually went to the Supreme Court, and they decided the GSA packs up everything. The president doesn't pack his boxes with the first lady, and you got the cardboard and the tape and all. No, they're in Kansas City somewhere having a big, nice luncheon or what, wherever they are. And they pack up the White House and the White House office whoosh, and move it to wherever they're told to move it to, their new residence. And this is the president, in the case of, Trump, it's Mar-a-Lago. And anyway, so that's what the special prosecutor is being questioned by the congressional committee because the special prosecutor was not kind in the way he discussed the litigation of President Biden. I don't like this stuff where you're prosecuting an existing president, really, right before an election, for God's sakes. I mean, that's now this is a public hearing, and there's how many people in the public are paying attention. If you're in law school, you certainly go. If you're at George Washington University and you're taking any classes in constitutional law, you can be damn sure the professor said, make sure you watch this broadcast on whatever channel that carries it. Yes, C-SPAN 1, 2, or 3, or whichever network might be, Newsmax, Fox News, ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, all the C's you can. Anyway, they have live feeds right now. Anyway, they should, people that are running to be president, they're vetted by the public. The public decides whether they should be president or not. Not the courts. Not some goofball special prosecutor that's trying to make a name for himself so that when he resigns from the Justice Department, he gets a nice, cushy job on K Street. How about that? I even know there is a K Street. Why? Because Robin, my daughter Robin, walked us down K Street. It's where all the fancy office buildings are in Washington, D.C., that have all kinds of former chiefs of staff, former all kinds of legal people in and around, the government, which is why I'm encouraging my daughter to, you know, speak of, to get her last 2 years of law school under her belt so she can, pass the bar exam somewhere and get hired by, one of these cases. She's hot stuff. Robin is she's her whole legal studies now are surrounding the. She's taken some special certification with MIT and Yale University, I believe it is, for certification for cybercrime. With regard to government stuff, cybercrime's a big deal, and I guess we're all doing stuff with computers, and people don't understand this whole computer thing and the cybercrime stuff. Anyway, so 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 33 seconds later, Jimmy's gonna hang it up. I think I was up at like 5:30 this morning, so I've had a full day. It's 5, it's 10. It's time for a break. I had warm tea here, which is very nice. It's still warm. It's in a thermos container, and it's got a lid on it, so it stays. Sip it through a straw, so it stays. It's like it is 60. If you can see down here in this corner with one of these cameras, 67.6 degrees in our little studio here in downtown Boca Raton, speaking to the entire world Simulcast on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter Live. I think I lost one of them, so I still got two running. I got three in the pipeline. I think one. I think I got a whole thing. Do you want to end the broadcast because someone just went away? I have a feeling that was my Twitter account shut down. It'll have the whole broadcast, but it's not live. 10:19 a.m. on Tuesday morning, March 12th, the year 2024. One of the competency questions that's asked is, what year is it? I mean, the first five questions are really very, if you can't remember what year it is. What day of the week is it? It's Tuesday morning, according to my thing right there. It says Tuesday morning, 10:20 a.m., March 12th. It's not Tuesday afternoon, it's Tuesday morning. And my doctor asked me, that goes through the questions. What day of the week is it? It's Monday. Well, I mean, it's now Tuesday, but on January 8th, it was Monday. It was Monday. It was Monday afternoon at 1 p.m. I had my physical, annual physical required by the insurance companies and Medicare. They look at all this stuff gets filed. They got more files than people reading the files, and they got files for the files. It's but the people that jump the border, they don't have any files, and we don't care about them because they are special privilege. We'll fly them anywhere in the country. You want to take a bus somewhere? Yeah, we'll pay for the bus ticket. And TSA, forget it. No. TSA, you got a special pass through with the TSA. But the rest of us, we got to take our shoes off, for God's sakes. And our belts. Yeah, we get half naked when you have to go through the security. I mean, I'm being a little overzealous with that, but the illegal aliens, what the Democrats like to call undocumented. Oh yeah, they're not documented. You're goddamn right, they're not documented. What kind of diseases are they bringing? They don't have immunization records either. They come in here with cholera, or they come in here with leprosy, for God's sakes. Those kinds of diseases have been wiped out of the United States with years and years of medical isolation and, vaccines. And, you can't get into second grade without immunization record. All the illegal aliens, their kids, they not only get in, they get seated in the front of the classroom. And the American citizens, may get squeezed out because there's not enough room for you. So you're going to computer educate Mrs. Schwartz because we don't have room for your fourth grade student because we filled up the classroom with newcomers. The Democrats are now trying to call them newcomers. Newcomers? Really? 8 million newcomers? The Biden administration is responsible, with the open border policy that they have, is responsible for 8 million newcomers. Not, they don't even want to call them migrants anymore. Migrants? We're talking about migrants. We're not, moving continents here. I mean, people migrated, 1,000 years ago from one continent to the next. This is not the proper use of the word migrant in my educational background. We permit about 1 million with the proper process. You go into your, embassy in the country of your origin, and you can apply to become a U.S. citizen. And until you're an actual U.S. citizen, you're considered an alien. But you're a legal, Legal, not illegal, not a sick bird, a legal alien. And then once you get sworn in, then you're a U.S. citizen. That whole alien stuff is then removed from, um, your checklist of things that you do before you become a citizen. Yeah. And you have to take a test, and you have to learn history, and you got to speak English, and yada yada yada. There's a whole bunch of requirements, which I'm not uh, legally abreast of to actually give you the full list of requirements. I know you know how to speak. You have to speak English, and you also have to um, pass like a history test of the United States history, not world history, U.S. history. Like who's who's Abe Lincoln? What did he do? Who's you can go on the beach right now with these college kids. You can ask them those questions, and thank God they were born in the United States, and they got their U.S. citizenship, because they're a naturalized citizen. Okay, I'm a naturalized citizen because I was born from migrants, from Russia and Europe. Um, and then accordingly, I am a citizen because I'm a naturalized citizen because I was born here. Okay, that's what that means. And I was born in Mary Immaculate Hospital. I came across a record. I'll show it to you. Just because I happen to have the little blue folder right here. Because I have to, you know what? I don't know if I made a copy of that. Let's see if it's in here. I didn't actually have to have there's my social security card. Got to show them the card. An I-9 form, because the tax people, they want to, this is all to become a properly registered and vetted. There's my certificate of completion for a training I took a couple of days ago. Yeah, no, I don't have, anyway, so I don't have the birth certificate from Sister whoever in the Mary Immaculate Hospital in Jamaica, New York City. Amazing, huh? Okay, I'm gonna sign off here. Marilyn told me you've got to have your broadcasts on a regular timetable. You can't just pop it in at 2 in the afternoon and this or that. Now, if you want to have a second broadcast anytime you want, that's one thing. So you're making an official record of whatever you're deciding to talk about. Um, but you need to have, you turn on Looney Tunes at 10 in the. Anyway, so my entertaining, should be entertaining, um, broadcast is originating at 9 o'clock every morning. Now, this morning I was about 8 minutes late because of technical issues on getting on the air. And I had some video issues, and then I had some audio issues. The sound was coming through the Rodecaster Pro, but it wasn't getting into my computer system, which is the keyboard. I just have that covered up just so dust doesn't get in the keyboard because it basically stays open all the time. It's not like my laptop like here. See, I just fold that baby down when I'm done with it, and it closes off and all that kind of stuff. But there we go. So I'm gonna open this up and go here, and yeah, I'm gonna shut down here. I'm gonna stop talking, and I'm going to end this Simulcast, this simulcast of 3 social networks. And I will see you tomorrow morning, which is, no. Actually, sorry. Wednesday morning on the 13th. I got to be in West Palm Beach for clerk training. Oops, remember the organizational chart I drew for all the poll workers? I'm being vetted as we speak. And tomorrow I show up for 6 hours of training, and I show my certificate of completion because you're supposed to go through computer training right now or yesterday or the day before, when you show up for your clerk training, you have to certify that you've taken and passed. I passed with a score of 100%, by the way. My sensitivity training. What do you mean you're not a Republican? Okay, I'll be sensitive, I promise. No, I'm in a serious business. I'm being a little bit of a wise guy right now, but it's serious business. This Saturday, by the way, Delray is holding its parade. It's 50, 60 years, 60 something years. Go right down the avenue. We've got some wonderful pictures on 416-1100.com. And you can click on, you can see, St. Patty's Day. Garrett, look at this guy. He's a fun guy. He goes to every one of these parades. He's carrying the Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. He's got a green fire rescue hat on. You can see the fire trucks in the background. I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, the bagpipers that come, they have the piping, from Long Island, from Nassau County pipers, Chicago pipers. You've got a number of, people that are playing the bagpipes, and it just gives me chills. Marilyn's parents, her father, was an Irishman, so Scots Irish. So the Scotsmen, they all, that whole parade stuff, it just gives me the goosebumps just thinking about it. So we're going to be there. We will have our press passes on and cameras, and we'll, walk around, take some pictures of the crowds, and maybe some, we sit down in one of the finest hotels in downtown Del Rey, right? I think it's the Seacoast Hotel. Seacoast, Seacrest, see something. Maryland's making the reservations. We go there every year. We didn't go last year for some reason. But tomorrow I'm in training, and boy, I have it in my calendar. My calendar is going to start beeping me, at 6 in the morning, because I've got to have Maryland delivered by 8. Either that or she can Uber to work, and I'll just leave directly from here. I can't Uber to West Palm. It's too far. It would cost a fortune to get up there. And then Uber back. Oh my God, round trip to West Palm. It's got to be, probably $60 round trip, $30 each way Uber. Anyway, so I wish you all a good rest of the day. I will not be on tomorrow. My apologies for that, because I'll be in clerk training at the Supervisor of Elections office in West Palm Beach, Florida. And this is a state of Florida and a Palm Beach County. It's kind of like both jurisdictions. So that's good. I look forward to that training, actually. And so I'll be cracking the books tomorrow from 9 o'clock until about 3 in the afternoon. And I collect my materials up, and then I head back in the car and get ready to pick Marilyn up from her work at her bank. She's, you know, has a very responsible position in one of the most productive branches in the chain of branches that Seacoast Bank has. Proud of Marilyn. She does a good job. Okay, it's 1 hour and 25 minutes, and I'm going to shut down now, and you can listen to the music at your pleasure. I'll turn the microphone down, and I'll see you on Thursday morning, okay? Thursday morning, I'll be back at 9 o'clock sharp.
To investigate the actions of the Attorney General's boss, the sitting President of the United States. I knew that for my decision to be credible, I could not simply announce that I recommended no criminal charges and leave it at that. I needed to explain why. My report reflects my best effort to explain why I